We've been waiting all day for this moment right here. Well, almost this moment in 2 hours, because the Nuggets have a chance to win an NBA championship with a win at Ball Arena tonight. Welcome inside, Katie Winge and Scott Hastings. This is YouTube Live presented by UC Health. We are so happy that you are joining us. If you have any questions for us, Nuggets fans, get them going in the comments. We're going to answer as many as we can throughout our program here, getting you set and ready for this Game 5. How you feeling? Mood check, vibe check.
No, I'm good. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's time.
It's been a long day, huh?
It's time to throw up the ball. Let's go, and let's get this thing finished. Finish this thing.
Nuggets fans rolling in, very excited. I feel like there's been this energy, this buzz around the city all day, and everybody is very much looking forward to this thing tipping off in 2 hours. Are you tangled up?
My cords are all tangled up.
What's happening over there?
I got my cords all tangled up. Listen. We talked to a bunch of people today on our radio show, and long-suffering guys that became Nuggets fans in I think 1974, and when it was ABA still, but they changed their name from Rockets to Nuggets. Guys have been waiting for this. Some young fans, obviously. Tyler Plum's son was watching 12. He goes, "Dad, if they win this, how many have they won?" He goes,
"This
is number one." So it's a wide variety. Driving in here, this will not be a late arriving crowd tonight for Game 5.
I would think that everybody would be in there. I mean, it looks like everybody's trying to get to their seats right now, 2 hours before tip-off, as the Denver Nuggets are getting ready to go. What do you think it's going to take? Because you know that, I mean, the Heat love it when their backs are up against the walls. It's kind of a reminder of who the Nuggets used to be in playoffs of the past. Denver knows what it's like to be down 3-1 and come back and make history in that way. What do you
Well, I know that's the narrative everybody's selling, but they were up in the Milwaukee series. They were up in the Boston series. I don't remember Atlanta. I think who they played in round one. Was that Atlanta?
Are you talking about Miami?
Oh, New York second round. They were up in that whole series. They've not experienced this. In fact, when they lost Game 1 in Denver, they had not lost Game 1 yet. So I love the narrative that everybody said, well, this is a team coming. Win. You've led every series until this one right here. Great test for him. I thought Bam Adebayo had one of the great quotes that I think fits for the Denver Nuggets, maybe every bit as good as Miami, is whatever it takes that's necessary to do to win. Whatever it takes. And Denver's kind of played that way, and that's kind of been their mantra all year long. So, listen, go out and play your game. I'll give you your keys a little bit later. You can't let them go crazy on the three-point line like you did on Game 2. I thought in Game 4 the other night, they clogged down that lane. There's a big strip of Jimmy Butler late in that game by KCP, got him out going. And then KCP hits the three, puts him up, I think, 13 or 14.
Yep. And
that thing was over. So, yeah, man, listen, be you, be selfish, be determined, be focused, and you know what? Starting tomorrow, you can let your hair down.
All right, we're going to get to our guys and diving into what the Nuggets need to do here in a second, but the rumor is that Tyler Herro is going to suit up tonight for the Miami Heat. What do you think he's capable of bringing and lifting them up?
I don't know. He hadn't played in 6 weeks. I think there's a lot to expect from him. You go back to Jamal's first game when he hadn't played in a year and a half, and everybody's, he's going to be automatically the old Jamal Murray, automatically old Tyler Herro. I don't know. Listen, he's a good player, a really good shooter. I think that if they play him and if they brought him up to, I don't even know what the next level is from not playing.
Questionable.
He usually that means they're playing.
Yeah.
We're going to be secret.
Well, Woj tweeted it out that it's likely he's going to suit up. So
yeah, and if he plays, he plays. But that means that's going to take Vincent minutes. That's going to take Duncan Robinson's minutes. It's going to take other guys' minutes that have been out there and playing pretty well and fighting for this series. And now can he play at the level he played before he got hurt? Who knows?
It's an interesting kind of wrench to throw in, and it feels a little bit like the Miami Heat's maybe last punch, last adjustment. Like, okay, we've given you a lot of what we think we're capable of giving you. the last thing we can really do is try and throw, a guy that averages around 20 points per game for them into the rotation.
Yeah, that once again has not played in 6 weeks, and his first game's back is going to be in Game 5 in the finals and on the road in Denver. Now, we talked about when this series started, playing it out too. Well, he could be getting up and down, but he hasn't practiced like this game is going to be tonight. So we will see. And I know somewhere watching is Bill Lambier, and he's sitting there going, "What thumb was it?" So you got to keep that in mind too. But listen, he'll play, and that's great. He's a very good player, but that means somebody else's minutes who's been. Listen, Vincent couldn't shoot a lick in the the regular season. Has been great in the postseason. Duncan Robinson was benched until Tyler Herro came. He's been one of the most consistent three-point shooters they've had. So one of them two guys aren't playing.
Yeah.
So pick your poison, and it's not like all of a sudden we're going to take Robinson and Vincent out, three-point shooters, and all of a sudden bring Herro and go, oh, just let him shoot it. Mm-hmm. They're going to play the same type of defense. He's another threat they got in there, and let's see how he handles it. So
the Denver Nuggets have their stars, and they've been shining so far in this series. Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, closeout game, an opportunity for them to bring the first championship to Denver. What type of performance do you see them putting on the floor?
Well, Nikola's got a history. He's been good in those closeout games, right? He's been pretty good. Listen, I think those two have established themselves to where they're going to be and who they are. And not just us, who we knew, but to the rest of the NBA who hasn't been paying attention, and to the rest of the
All right, we are back after some technical difficulties, a little adversity. Didn't hurt anybody. It's probably what the Nuggets will face tonight. This is the YouTube Live presented by UC Health, back up and running. As we kind of wrap this thing up, Scotty, what are your keys?
Well, I just told him, Katie. I just told her.
No. He just gave the most perfect breakdown of what it takes to be an NBA champion.
That and
unfortunately, we were offline. So
that and world peace. It's a make or miss league. Tonight, you need to have us make, them miss. I think that's the key. I love what they did, especially in that fourth quarter defensively. They swarmed the lane, and then they still contested. I think you got to swarm the lane, swarm shooters coming off those dribble handoffs, contest those shots right there, and I think you're going to be okay. And then, listen, to quote Mia Hamm, anybody who says that winning isn't everything never won anything. So, Mia.
Oh, that's just it? That's just the thumb. I thought you were going to keep going there.
Yeah.
Well, talking to the players, too, after the last game, it was the follow-up question was, of course, what do you think it's going to take to close it out at home? And their answer to a lot of that was everything. You
got to assume going into tonight's game that you got to have the best game that you've played all series. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think Denver's had their best game of the series yet. Let it be tonight. I mean, they played well and did some wonderful things in Miami, but you still had two or three guys that were kind of passengers that you needed maybe to do something. So I think if they played their best game, and even if Miami plays their best game, Denver's going to win this one tonight.
I'm going to give you this opportunity because it could happen tonight. But what would a championship mean to the city of Denver and to be able to do it at home in front of these home fans?
Well, believe it or not, nobody in marketing wants to realize that, but there's been fans of this team since 1967 that are still kicking, still rolling. I told you I talked to a guy today that was a fan when he was a kid. It's 1974, ABA days. So I think there's a lot of people. There's a lot of ex-players also. The Dan Issels, the Alex English, the Fat Levers, the LaFonso Ellises, the guys that still hold this place. Denver gets into your soul a little bit. And all those guys, you know, the Bill Hanzik, who was a head coach and only won 11 games. I mean, it means it's going to mean a whole lot. It's going to mean a lot for the teams because now they got the bling and everybody's going to be able to talk to them. And now you're going forward and see how many of those you can win. But for this city, the first one, I equate it to, honestly, 1997 when the Broncos won their first Super Bowl. And the second oldest franchise in this city is the Nuggets. Broncos came in 60, Denver came in 67. So I think there's going to be a whole lot of nostalgia and a whole lot of really happy people if they can pull this thing off.
All right, the Denver Nuggets look to pull this thing off tonight at home in Game 5. They're hungry, they're desperate, they're going to put their best effort forth on the floor to get this thing done against the Miami Heat. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for covering our show. Thanks for staying tuned with us through the technical difficulties. Here's what we have coming up. Our full hour-long pregame show is on Altitude starting at 5:30 p.m. And then after the game, win or lose, we will have your full coverage on the Locker Room Report, interviews with players, coaches, full breakdowns, everything you could possibly want. So with that in mind, we're bringing it in.
Bring it in. Yeah. Hit the camera, show us. Not Joker, us. There you go.